I know, I was just throwing it out there before you guys told me.
All right, we are recording.
We'll go ahead and get started and I'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to introduce Jennifer Cutting. Jennifer owns a business called the Loaf Lab, which we're gonna be looking at a loan for. And I'm gonna I'll do the couple things here and then we'll turn it over to Jennifer. Okay. So could I have an approval of the minutes for April 26th?
So moved.
please?
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And Jennifer,
Yes.
why don't we have, you don't know everybody here, so Bruce, why don't you just go around the room?
Bruce Dahl, Town of Walton.
Wayne Oliver.
Joel Goodspeed.
Glenn Mullis,
Sean Lighty.
Scott White.
Lindsay.
I'm Jim Thompson.
I'm Sean Petro.
So as you know, I'm Jen Cutting. I own the Loaf Lab. Do you want me to just get to it?
Go.
Okay. So, brought cookies and I brought some cinnamon rolls for you guys. I did not know there was gonna be this many people. I would have brought more cinnamon rolls, but the cookies should be,
Glenn.
they should suffice. Those cookies have won awards. King Arthur Flour awarded them first and second place in 2 competitions that we won.
Cool.
Thank you. They're amazing. I've never met anyone who hates them. So definitely make sure you get one. Everything that I make is sourdough based, everything. So I worked within the county for a very long time. I was the substance use advocate for Delaware County for years. I worked inside the Delaware County Jail. I've worked with the sheriff's office. I actually still am appointed to the Delaware County opioid settlement force for seeing where the money goes and overseeing the money from all settlements and whatnot. So I still am very involved with the county agencies. But after I too am a woman in recovery. I will have 7 years sober this October 27th.
Congrats.
Thank you
Good.
very much.
Good.
It has been a journey for sure. I have helped countless people get sober. And it takes a toll on your mental health after a while. Watching people not make it is a very difficult thing to be a part of. So I started sourdough bread as a mental health reprieve for myself. It was the complete opposite, because I failed miserably, probably for the first year, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't, as a fairly intelligent human being, I couldn't understand why I couldn't grow a starter. And once I stopped complicating it and just stop letting it rent extra space in my head, I finally was able to do it and clearly do it successfully. So this June, the Loaf Lab will be a year old. And I resigned from my position with the county at the end of January, and I'm now doing this full time. And it amazes me week after week, the amount of orders that I get and how much this business has truly taken off and grown. Through the friends that I have within the county, obviously that has helped me greatly develop and grow. I get orders from people from DSS, CPS. These people know me and they know my story very personally. As when I was active, they worked with me and now they see me in my sober life and they support the things that I do. I do this out of my kitchen and out of my home.
Mhm.
I no longer have a dining room table because it's now a drying station. My laundry room has been cut in half because I need it for supplies. My kitchen, people are not allowed to eat in my kitchen, my family, because I'm too busy baking in it. And it's gotten to the point that it's like, all right, enough is enough. Clearly this business is taking off more and more every month, every week. And something needs to give. I first looked at my friend Jessica Vecchione recommended you guys to me. So I kind of didn't realize that you guys were on the same team. So I was like emailing everyone for help, trying to figure out how to get help. And I first looked at a building in Unadilla for a rental space and to turn it into a commercial kitchen. And I went and the space was beautiful. It was lovely. It was in a terrible location, but I wasn't going for retail at that time. I'm still not right now. My main goal is commercial space. And I don't know, once I got the lease sent to me, it was just written really funny. I just was really uncomfortable, and I'm a big person in like trust your gut, because the only time in my life it's ever got me in trouble is when I haven't listened to it. So I called Lindsay and I was like, so about that space, will you still be able to work with me and help me if I do something incredibly different? And she was like, yeah, what do you got? And I told her that it would cost me the same amount of money for 1 year of rent at this storefront in Unadilla as it would to purchase a shed and own the building. I'm trying to be smart in my decisions, right? If I purchase this building and I convert it into a kitchen, if the low flab expands and goes somewhere else, I still own this. So it wasn't a bad purchase. I didn't just give somebody else money to help them pay their bills, right? This could always be a kitchen space, storage, a storefront. There's so many possibilities because I own the building. So it's a smart move. The way I'm baking now, I have 2 ovens in my house, and I'm still baking in a regular kitchen oven. So I'm only able to bake 6 loaves at a time. When I make dough, my batch of dough is for 13 loaves. It takes me 22 minutes with the lid on, 22 minutes with the lid off, so 44 minutes. If I was able to get this loan and purchase this larger oven, I would be able to bake 15 loaves in 1 bake. I would be tripling my capacity in 1 hour of what I'm doing in roughly 4. So I'm at the point now that I either need to take this incredible leap of faith and jump forward and see where this goes, or scale back drastically, because I cannot keep going at the capacity that I am. I don't want to scale back. If I've been able to do this in the first year, I can't even imagine what the next 5 will be like. I actually just got really blessed with an incredible order that I stopped making to come here. I just got a $500 order from a law firm in Manhattan. I'm trying as hard as I can to get into corporate situations where they do order my cookies and my cinnamon rolls and pretzels and things of that nature for their events. I would love to get more into the catering side of it. What's better than a large order, 1 lump sum, all said and done? The community has supported me like crazy. The articles that have been written about myself and my business are absolutely beautiful. We have been in the Daily Star. We were on WZOZ radio station in Oneonta. They then wrote a beautiful article that was picked up. I stopped counting it, like 7 other agencies that picked up the article and also proceeded to put it on the internet. The Reporter did a full-page business spotlight on us, and they are going to be putting us in the Catskills magazine as an up-and-coming business. Sorry. For the next couple of months. And like I said, like, my community has truly shown up for me, and I am incredibly honored and grateful for their love and support, because that's literally what this business has become. It came out of love and a need for something different in my life. And again, like I said, my community has shown up for me greatly. I also have a very large social media following. I have over 15,000 subscribers on YouTube, and it is a monetized channel, and I do make a monthly income off of it. But I'm in the process of converting. It was primarily about recovery and the things that were going on in my life. And I have started to convert it over into what I'm doing now, and it has been wildly successful and received by people. I'm actually, another reason why, and I didn't put this within the business plan because it hasn't happened yet. These are things that I know I can count on. This is set in stone for me. Once I get a commercial kitchen, my licensing, I will like in the future to apply. Once I make this kitchen, I'm going to stay cottage for right now. Once it's said and done, and I'm able to say, hey, it's downtime, it's January, it's February, I'm slow as can be, I would like to have it inspected as a commercial kitchen. And as of right now, through my cottage license, I can ship via the internet only in New York State. Once I turn to commercial, sky's the limit. I have people from my YouTube channel that are begging me to send them stuff through the mail, and I just won't take that chance because it's not worth me losing whatever little licensing I have right now. Sobriety has brought me amazing gifts in life and has not disappointed at any turn. Anytime I try and do anything, the support and love that I get is amazing. And the simple fact that I have people like in Utah that want to order my cookies are amazing to me, right? And this is I school my child, and this is part of her schooling. She works with me and does certain things. She actually just yesterday, her end of the school year project is she is doing a brownie bake sale for the Delaware Valley Humane Society. After her supplies are paid for, everything she's raising, she's buying ice cream from Huff's Ice Cream in Sydney. And she's throwing the shelter dogs an ice cream party. So it just ties into everything that we're doing. Like she's now doing stuff with sourdough and learning about it. I teach classes. The classes are incredibly lucrative. It probably costs me $4 to $6 per individual, and I charge $65 a person. And my classes, I have to cap it at 30 because I get a little overwhelmed with trying to walk 30 people in 2 hours through the process of making dough for bread. I do roughly 2 classes a month. Starting in July, I'm doing bake school for children 12 through 17. It's a 4-week program, 2 hours a week we meet. I'm doing one that I'm doing in Sydney. I'm doing for children that are financially challenged, and I'm having businesses sponsor them. It's $160 a child. I've capped it at 10 children because I want them to have individual time with me, and I want them to learn and create and grow. So we are meeting 2 hours a day, 2 hours a week, excuse me, at the Cultural Center in Sydney. 10 children. First class, we are doing a vision board for the class and for individually. After that, we're going to learn about the chemistry behind sourdough, what makes it work, what makes it doesn't work. Each child is going to make a starter together. They're going to go home with the supplies to feed it during the week and bring it back every time. We will make bread together. We'll make dough, we'll make bread. The last class will be a little party, right? Like, and all the things they've learned about, I will bake for them to have to taste. And everybody will get a personalized apron to take home with them. And then hopefully that will create their own little community of support within themselves. As of right now, I think out of the 10 seats, and I haven't even publicly announced it yet, I have 5 businesses that have already offered to pay for children to attend those classes. I'm also doing one at the Green Earth in Oneonta. They are a pay for as they come class because their economy is much different than in Sydney. Yesterday, my daughter and I were invited up to Delaware Academy to speak to grades 6 through 12 about our story of what it was like for my addiction and her as a child to have a parent that way. And SAD, students against, it used to be drunk driving, but now it's something different.
Destructive decisions.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm not up on that yet. They, those kids asked if they could fundraise to pay for a spot for one of the kids in my classes. So it's not just a business, right? Like on the front end, it's just a business, but it's a community business. And yes, I sell my items to the community, but we also give back because I feel when you work in that type of mindset, one hand washes the other, right? So when you do good, good happens. And when you are involved in good, good comes to you. And I truly feel like when you put good out to the universe, it comes back. And I just feel like I'm blessed. Like my life was a lot different 10 years ago. And through hard work, I've created things that I never thought were possible. And if I'm this lucky and I'm this blessed, then it is my obligation as a decent human to give back to my community. We donate often, and I don't include any of that because that's being a good person. Sorry. Every fundraiser we donate at, anytime we can help anyone, anytime there's leftover anything. I was just saying, actually, I'm the president of the board of my, it's called Masonville Connects, my community organization. And I just had my team create a blessings box. Anytime I've ever left over anything, it goes directly back into my community. Nothing goes to waste. I know I am asking for a decent amount of money. There's reasons why. I want to make sure this is done right. And I know I can do this. The building itself, I can afford on my own, but it's foolish for me to do it that way. It's like a 28% interest rate for me to purchase the building directly from the manufacturer. You guys were 4%. You know, I mean, let's be real. I'd be foolish to not take that money. Purchase the building outright, so it's paid off, and then pay back at a lesser fee. That's just good business. The oven that I need is probably with tax and delivery. It's gonna be around 10 grand, but it would be life changing for my business. I could bake in 1 hour what it takes me to bake in 4. When I have an event, like my next event, my next very big event coming up is June 9th. I am tabling at, it's called Beer Tree. It's in Port Crane. And I'll go with 120 breads. I will bake around the clock from like Thursday till Saturday. I won't leave my kitchen except like to sleep. And even that's not, I'll go to bed at midnight and I'll probably wake up at like 3, 4 o'clock. Because I want people to have the freshest product possible, because that's a representation of my business. And because my product is so fresh and all organic, I can't bake, I can't start baking today for next week. Maybe I could do some cookies, right? And because they get frozen before they get baked, so my butter has a better flavor. That's about it. But otherwise, I'm like killing myself trying to keep up with the capacity that I need to be at. There's so many items I would love to add to my menu, but because I'm not set up properly, I'm trying to run a business and a family out of one room in my home. And it's not doing the best. Plus for me, mentally, I would love to have my own space to go in and bake, and at the end of the day, close the door and go home. Baking out of your home or working out of your home, you're never really off work. I hope you guys like your cookies.
Jen, I got a couple
Yes.
of comments or questions. I know this happened in Andy's with another woman that was starting a business, and she bought one of the, and I'll call it an Amish shed. In quotes, I don't know what brand it is, but she ran into a ton of problems with the code enforcement officer over the New York State Fire Code and the New York State Energy Code.
Yes.
And it took her like a year to get approval to move into this building.
So I've already spoke with my town code enforcer. I have a lovely relationship with him, so that helps tremendously. His wife actually sells my products at her store occasionally when I have a lot of, say we have a big event and it pours and I'm left with 100 breads. She'll take some and sell hers at her store at the Masonville General Store in town. So, because it is not a permanent dwelling, there are a lot of different rules that you get to skate around. My floor is being done by the manufacturer itself, so it would already be up to code. Everything is already up to spec. And I'm also having them run the wire and the boxes because it will come already up to code.
Okay.
So do I think I'm gonna have no problems come up? I wish, but that's not how life goes. I know there's gonna be some stuff, right? And I've gone this long in the kitchen, so I'm not gonna be at a dead standstill waiting for this to happen. I'm
Right.
still gonna be able to come up. I'm still gonna be able to proceed. Again, there's gonna be issues. I'm sure there's probably gonna be stuff I don't even think about.
I just wanted to bring that up because.
No, it's valid. We
this woman
discussed.
in Andy's had a horrible time.
Well, and related to that, Jim, zoning, I'm not sure Masonville, would have a problem with that or.
No.
They don't, because it's such a small town, our zoning, like, people have farm animals in the middle of town.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. I was worried, like, we have a lot of chickens. I really love chickens. And I was like very worrisome that people were gonna complain about the rooster and whatever. We have no zoning laws for that.
The other question that I had was, you mentioned that the new oven was gonna cost you $10,000, which they do. Have you checked out used equipment?
Yes, I have been looking like crazy for used equipment.
Have you contacted the people in Livingston Manor?
I don't know who that is.
There's I can't remember their names, and it's a big store down there that they buy distressed. When a restaurant goes out of business,
Okay,
they go in and they buy the equipment.
I'm all for
And
it.
they refurbish it and resell it, and,
You can get that information to me and I'll send it along.
okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mm.
I'm all for it. I like, the other day we looked at a used oven and it was $600. It was probably worth 20. You know, that's the one thing. So this is the thing, buying this oven, it's brand new. Comes with a year manufacturer's warranty, and something goes wrong, they're responsible for it. You know, there's so many pluses and minuses with going with used, obviously cost effective more, but then going with new, it's yours, right? You put all the wear and tear on it. It doesn't work. You call the manufacturer, they come and they service it. And these are breads that are manufactured specifically for sourdough baking. I spend $600 on an oven. Maybe I get 3 weeks out of it. Maybe I get 3 years. You know, I'm not opposed to secondhand to anything as long as it's worth it. I don't want to set myself up for a bad time and more stress.
No, I get that, and it's
If it's
just,
a company like that took them, serviced them, knew they worked,
yeah, we were,
guaranteed it,
yeah, we were involved in another building that had a commercial kitchen in it.
is it still available?
And no, I don't know, we've sold the building, I don't know what they're gonna do with equipment, but. That, and I know there's an oven in there that came from the place and.
Yeah, if you could get that information, that would be absolutely wonderful.
They come up and installed it and. it was-
You know, at the end of the day, I could do this on my own. At a much slower pace,
Yeah, I get it.
and it's gonna cost me a boatload more money.
And,
It's
and,
gonna cost you opportunity too.
Right, like I have the opportunity right now to be supplying a noodles weekly for an order of $350 to $450 a week. That's wonderful for a small business. Cash, right? I can't say yes to that right now because I cannot, in good faith. I'm only one person. I can't keep up with that kind of production. You know, when I go to events,
Yeah.
I walk out of there with $1,000 cash, every event I go to.
Yep.
I sell out at every event unless the weather is bad.
So I skimmed your business plan. What happens when you have 10 times the orders?
I
You,
expand again, but then I have collateral to come to you.
well, I get that, but thinking about that, you know.
I expand
It's gonna be
again,
more than
right?
just you, right?
Oh, yes, I'm hoping next spring, well, my daughter, I can only, demand child slave labor for so
Right.
long. But, I'm hoping next spring to be able to have grown again and hire someone to help me with the packaging. You know, my poor husband, on the weekends, he's still working because believe it or not, when I have someone as I'm, shaping bread and putting it in bannequins and he's able to clear the counter and put it in the refrigerator for me. As stuff is coming out of the cooling rack and is able to be packaged and they're helping me it instead of me doing it all. Again, I need to be able to expand in order to be able to do that. My main goal, what I would truly love is to be able to hire somebody in recovery that needs a chance and needs a job. Somebody gave me that chance when I first got on my feet and I would love to return that favor. And moving forward, I can't do any of that without you guys today.
Yeah.
I can't do any of it.
Jen, there's a woman in Oneonta who's a business consultant.
Okay,
She helps startup businesses in particular, and we've referred a number of businesses to her over the years. And her name's Michelle Caton.
okay.
I think it would be a good thing for you to have a session with
I
her.
would love to.
She works for this state.
Sony Broom.
Hmm?
It's under the New York State Small Business Development Center.
Yeah.
Must be Lucy.
And do you have that?
We
have her contact.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
pass that along. I just emailed you the Livingston Manor, so I'll
Okay, cool.
do that afterwards. So we'll go about that route.
I think she would be a big help to you.
That would be perfect. I would absolutely love that. I'm down for whatever help I can get.
Yeah.
I have this small business that I created out of nowhere that is absolutely thriving.
Mhm.
And it's like a baby right now. It needs to be nurtured properly and it needs to grow and it has the ability to grow. I'm at the next step, and if the next step. I have a big decision to make, right? If this comes to fruition for me, fantastic. Clearly it was meant to be. And I will do everything in my power possibly to continue to grow and to make it thrive as I've been. If this doesn't come to fruition, I have to really think about it. It's going to cost me an incredible amount of money. And therefore, I'm going to have this much profit instead of this much profit.
Sure.
And I mean, at the end of the day, we do run small businesses to be able to eat and live and provide for our families.
So Jen, to pick up on that,
mhm,
I got 3 suggestions for you. Watch your cost of goods sold real closely. Whether it's cost of, it's not gonna be eggs in your case, because your chickens are providing that. But if it's flour or cinnamon or nuts or whatever it happens to be, just keep real close track of that. I find cost of goods sold catch people and your margins narrow faster than you think.
I agree.
The
And the
other-
way that the world is today, things fluctuate so much. I know it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but I just found a place to get my flour for $7 cheaper a bag.
Yeah,
And it doesn't sound like a lot, but I buy almost 200 pounds of flour a week.
correct.
At $7 a bag, at 50 pounds a bag, it adds up after the
Sure,
month.
it
It's
sure
just
does.
substantial.
Yep, and it's really a pennies kind of business, because each cookie is selling for whatever, and you need to know what's in it
Yeah.
for cost.
And that was.
I
just-
sell a dozen
and,
cookies for $30 a dozen.
So the second thing is delivery cost.
Mhm.
For you to get in your car and drive to Green Earth and drop off 400 cookies is a wonderful order. But it's got your time, your
Mhm.
gas, your wear and
Yeah.
tear in your car. Make sure you've got that figured into your price.
Well,
The
hopefully,
other alternative would be, maybe you're working with Huff on putting cookies in a convenience store. Maybe they pick it up
yeah,
and the cost to pick up is less.
that's definitely something that's on my list. I would love to be able to have either do a collaboration of delivery like that or have someone who can deliver for me. Because it does take a lot out of my day. I try and make it so like when I have to go to Walmart, I'll deliver. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm killing 2 birds with one
Right.
stone because I had to go there
Right.
anyway. But to have like today, and please don't take this the wrong way, for me to stop baking, to drive all the way here, have this meeting, drive back, that's 3 hours out of my
Right.
day where I could have been baking.
It's not
It's
just-
just an example,
Not just 3 hours, but the cost to do it.
right?
And the last suggestion is, don't do your taxes yourself next year.
Yes,
You're a baker, you're not a tax expert, or at least I don't.
No, I'm
read
definitely
that
not.
You're a tax
I'm
expert
definitely
in your
not.
business plan. Hire somebody to do that.
yes,
because they're
I've already hired someone I'm going to be
Good,
working with.
they're not just the tax preparer, they're a
Mhm.
business advisor as well.
Yes, she has everything. She's actually the treasurer on my board and she does all our taxes too. So,
Mhm.
I've been doing everything. She's been helping me try to get organized. I would really like to get some sort of tracking system for my inventory that will tell me, just like a computer system, like I put in what I have, what I've used, it tells me what I've spent, just to make things easier and clearer.
I think that business consultant that Jim mentioned.
Right.
Recommends those.
Yeah,
systems.
okay.
Yeah. You can start with an Excel program to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And go from there.
I think that would just make things, I'm a visual person, so to be able to see what is going on versus trying to remember what's going on, I think would be much more helpful for me.
Yeah, but once you set it up on the system, you'll know instantly.
Right.
So you can look at something and say, well, I really need to increase the wholesale price of this
Yeah.
product because my cost just went up in it. And you'll know it instantly instead of sitting down and have to figure it all out by hand.
Right,
But yes.
Good. Anybody else have any questions?
Just from a market perspective, you're tripling or quadrupling your potential in regards to capacity. Do you feel the market's there? Sounds like it is based on
I
everything
can't
I've
make
read.
enough every week.
Okay,
Like I always, if I'm doing it, I'll double it, right? Like if I'm making cookies, I'm not gonna make one dozen, I'll make 2. Just because it makes more sense. And I'll post it on Facebook, like, hey, got an extra. I'll have 7 people reply and I'm like, I'm sorry. I stopped posting as much saying things were available because I feel bad, like I'm telling people no. If I was able to go into somewhere and say, all right, Mondays is gonna be cookies, Tuesdays cinnamon rolls, Thursdays, whatever, you know what I mean? And post it and double what I'm making, triple what I'm making, the sales are there.
Yeah.
I don't have enough product to supply for the amount of requests.
And I noticed you have refrigeration, whether it be a refrigerator, I'm not sure if there's a freezer in your list of assets that you need. How long does sourdough, what kind of a life do you have on sourdough, just out of curiosity?
Once baked, or, all right, so let me explain the
Just-
long process.
Maybe there's a couple of categories, you
There
don't have to
is.
go. You
So
gotta
when
get
you
back to
have your
bacon, but
starter,
just-
right, you make your starter lives indefinitely as long as you continue to feed it. It is a living organism, you keep feeding it.
Those
That's why-
starters are hard to keep alive, at least on my end.
Oh, have you tried? Yes. Oh my gosh, I'll have to give you some. Not as long as you can, once you get the routine. I have to let you come to one of my
Yeah.
classes.
For a price.
So, well, that's a question how today goes. Yeah. So once you get your starter fed, you have to continue to feed it,
Okay.
and that does take product, obviously. Once you say, okay, my starter is ready to bake, it's grown, it's doubled in size,
Right.
you feed your starter, you make your dough, that has to do its bulk rise, like any dough has to double in size. So sourdough doesn't necessarily have to double in size, but there's certain criteria you have to look for in the characteristics of it. Once that happens, you make your dough and then you put it in your fridge.
Yep.
You don't have to put it in your fridge. I prefer to do it time-wise because I'm baking so much. It gives me freer time instead of doing it right then and there. You can keep it in your fridge for 4 hours up to 72 hours. The longer you keep it in the fridge, the more sour the dough will become, hence sourdough.
Okay,
So I usually keep it overnight, I'm sorry.
so.
I usually keep it overnight to a day. Once it's baked, obviously it has to cool, you package it. I don't like to leave my bread longer than 3 days.
So you've got a 3-day window at max.
Correct.
Okay.
That's why, like, so I have that event next Sunday. I will start baking Thursday for everything to be ready to go. And I have to do it that way because otherwise I won't, I'll only go with like 50 loaves. So I start with my plain because that has the longest shelf life.
Yep.
And then things that have like dry inclusions, or like salt and things like that, I'll go next. And things that have wet inclusions, I do last to give them the longest shelf life with the people who are buying it.
So as your volume grows, you have 3 days in the refrigerator. So you need to make sure that capacity matches your other capacities. I didn't see a lot of refrigeration equipment in there. I just want to make sure.
It
you got
doesn't have
yourself
to
covered.
be, so I already have a refrigerator that I use, so I would be using that as well.
Residential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But-
It's just food for thought.
right. So the thing is, with the big oven, I can bake 15 loaves at a time.
Right.
Right now, my batch of dough is 13. I would just bump it up to add 2 more loaves. So I would be baking an entire batch of dough per bake. If I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and baked probably till like 11 o'clock at night, I could bake all my market bakes in one day. Versus 4 days where I'm like kind of certain where I'm comfortable with and where I'm not.
Thank you.
Yes,
you.
you're welcome.
That's why she needs a new building, because the starter keeps doubling in size.
It's so much. I actually have 2 3-gallon glass jars of starter that I feed every day. Because I use 1,500 grams of starter per batch of dough, and I make roughly 10 batches of dough per event. It's crazy.
Okay. Any other questions? Jen, what we'll do is
Oh, Peter, I'm sorry. Jim,
go
Yes.
Florida.
quick question. Great. Now, I'm so bummed that I'm not there to have some of these cookies. I picked the wrong date not to be there. But quick question. I don't know. I don't know if this will help you. But I know, for example, the Hobart Fire Station has a commercial kitchen. And I know you have an event coming up next week. I don't know the size of the oven. I know it's a full-fledged licensed commercial kitchen. So I don't know if that would help you. And you can rent it out at like almost nothing.
Yeah.
You might want to take a look and take a drive there and look at the kitchen to see if it meets your needs so that you can not stress over baking around the clock for 4 days to make an event. Just a suggestion to have a place to operate as you pursue, buying your building, getting your oven. I mean, that's all going to take some time. And there may be opportunities that may come up this summer that you'll be able to take advantage of if you had a commercial kitchen. I don't know if I heard it correctly, you're only allowed to sell in New York right now because you're working out of your home, correct?
Online. I mean, like if I was driving somewhere and somebody wanted to purchase something, I could deliver it to them.
No, I'm
But
talking about online. I'm talking about online.
unfortunately, Hobart is incredibly far from me.
Okay.
I'm in Masonville, so I'm pretty much on the other side of the county.
Okay.
And for me to I don't think it would be feasible for me to transport my dough. I think I would have like logistically, I don't think it would work out. I think my dough would get too hot and move too much and collapse in the
Well,
car.
it can, have you inquired, just like Hobart, have you inquired with any of the other fire stations to see if they have a commercial kitchen?
I have put posts out on Facebook. I have searched all over for commercial space.
Okay.
And unfortunately, either there's no space available at the spaces or there's no spaces available, if that makes sense. So I've inquired like at churches that have commercial kitchens
Right,
and
right.
their schedule is full. They're fully rented out.
Right. Well,
Yeah, this has been, I've probably been looking for 4 or 5 months. So that's how I came to this.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
fine. Wayne,
I just have a real quick question.
Absolutely.
Your cottage permit that you just talked about. What is the limits? Where you can ship or how much you can do?
There's a lot of limits. If I was able to, I would be able to do things like, I've done them for private parties where I wasn't selling to the public. I've done like cinnamon roll types with other types of inclusions, like a taco style, a Greek style that included meat. I would be able to do that because I would be fully inspected and licensed. This is a very watered down version of what you can do. I can't use certain fruits. I can't use certain things that are dehydrated. Nothing that's dehydrated, actually, which is
So-
bizarre.
Nothing in this cottage permit
It's very
would
limited.
be impacted by the capacity you're going to.
It would be better,
Okay.
right? Like, because I would then have a much broader scope license. This is just a permit.
Yeah.
That would be a licensing.
Okay,
And-
okay, so it's a cottage licensing, okay,
It's a cottage permit.
permit.
And then I would be going to a kitchen license, like a commercial
Okay,
kitchen
so that's
license.
with this new shed.
Yeah.
So there are costs associated with that as well.
It's $90 a year.
I just want to make sure I
It's
understand.
not
So
really,
you're under a cottage permit
I'll do
now,
that.
you'll be going into a full kitchen license. Okay,
yes,
thank you.
yes. It would just,
okay,
it would broaden everything.
Yeah.
Instead of being so narrow
Sure.
now.
Yeah, I misunderstood where we're going.
so
Okay.
Jen, what we'll do is, we've got quite a big agenda today and, later in the meeting, we'll get into the loans and what we do is we go into executive session, because this is all being recorded and it goes on Facebook and all of that fun stuff. So, appreciate you coming in. Lindsay, we'll get back to you. And, I think you're doing a good, really good thing. And,
you.
I'm
I
very
appreciate that
impressed
very
with what you got going on. And let's see what we can work out with you.
Awesome. Thank you all for having me. I hope you have a great day. Lindsay, if you have any, like, if anyone has any other questions, please call me. I will
Yep.
be driving home and probably going in and out of service, but I absolutely answer any questions that you have, and I really appreciate your time today. Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you for
Thank you,
coming in.
Jen.
Appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
And the cookie was awesome.
I hope
Very
that
good.
sets you in the right direction. Have a good day, everybody.
Yep, you too.
Bye.
Okay, the treasurer's report, Glenn had to leave for a little while. So I'm gonna skip the treasurer's report unless somebody's got
Yeah, but there's really.
questions. I mean, it's,
Isn't it? All the problem ones are with attorneys and
yeah. And
there's not much to even talk about.
Oh, I can always talk.
All right, so what did we actually think? Everything good?
Sorry, we can just come back when Glenn
Yeah,
gets to it.
that's right.
Yeah, so let's skip the financial for this point in time. And the property side. I need Glenn for the majority of the rest of the IDA. Agenda.
Oh, I can address the summer intern.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah,
I mean, does that mean we have to go into executive session and talk about that?
I think. No,
we
we
should.
can without names. Just don't give any names.
Okay. We're bringing on a summer intern.
We want to.
We want to bring on a summer intern. We have sort of an overall plan for this individual. I believe the plan is to go out to all of the towns and counties and try and take a survey of what they would like to see within their town or village, you know, big projects that they would like to see happen. Kind of just get an overview of the positive and the negatives of each town and county or town and village. And then therefore he will hopefully create a economic development strategic plan for Delaware County. And that will incorporate like something from each village and town that they need to work on and just kind of bring it all together and have something that we can reflect on for years to come that if we want to apply for, you know, a DRI or New York Forward, things like that. Do you have anything to add, Sean?
Well, Glenn, oh, Sean.
No, I mean, I think you nailed it. So basically the idea being that, you know, the kind of the core idea behind this is to try and get an idea of what each of the towns and villages see as their priorities for development. So that, you know, we can take all that information, aggregate it, and kind of figure out what are like the top 5 areas that need help. And, you know, can we design a program around
The
that?
person's gonna be a county employee, right?
I believe
We have
the
to actually
idea
work
would
those
be
out.
for him to be a 1099. He would be an intern as a 1099.
Okay, is he a college student?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a college student from Delhi. He's,
Well,
well,
yes, he is, but he doesn't go to Delhi College.
oh, no, he goes to,
Right, and then the college.
but,
right?
I just don't want to put any names out there.
Yeah,
right.
He's got a job elsewhere right at the moment for the summer. But Glenn and I talked about this. Delaware County does not have a strategic plan. And I know that there's funding to do one, and there's starting to be some movement on the part of county planning to put one together. But I think even though there's movement, we're gonna have to write the economic development chapter anyway to be part of this county strategic plan. And I think the county strategic plan is gonna be what, another year?
It's a fairly substantial.
Right, it
endeavor,
is,
But it
yeah.
is ongoing. It's
Oh,
begun.
I get it, but,
That's
I'm,
a quintessentially important portion of it.
I don't wanna wait any
economic
longer.
development.
I've waited for 30 years that I've done this job.
Well, there's also.
And the funding would come from, how would we fund the position?
I think Glenn's gonna use part of his funding that he gets from the county through his department to do this.
Okay.
And if not, we have adequate funds in the IDA to do this.
Okay, but we just need to make sure this person knows what it means to be a subcontractor. I mean, he's gotta pay his own social security tax.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have any insurance costs or anything. He just has to pay social security tax and income tax on
I get it. Yeah, we have adequate workers' comp if we need, if something comes up. We've got
Right.
that in place now.
Right, because they'll have a contract with.
Right. and-
Right, I just
and-
want to make sure he understands.
Yeah.
That he's not surprised that he's gonna owe 15% on his profit.
No,
for
no,
doing this.
No, I get it. That's-
And social security tax and stuff.
Will workers' comp cover a contractor?
Yes.
Well, okay.
So we just felt it would be a good thing to get a head start.
I think it's a
And-
great idea. We are working on the strategic plan. I mean, I'm part of that with the county
Yep.
and the county planning. We're already starting that direction, but any additional information we bring in just helpful to everybody anyway.
Blood sugar through the roof.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we have a deliverables?
Yes.
Do we know what he can accomplish in the summer?
We,
It's not a long
we,
stretch.
we do, but
Not that I need to know.
I'm not ready with that yet. Glenn and I have had some pretty long discussions about this.
So do we need a motion to approve it or?
Yes, I want.
I'll make that motion.
Approval for Glenn and I to put this together and get it going.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy that we're talking to is, his major fits with what he's doing very well.
But any information he provides us is just gonna be helpful to us no matter what,
Right.
so
Right.
I.
And we're constantly getting asked by outside agencies, well, what's your economic development vision for Delaware County? And, you know, the economic development vision that we have is all up here. We've never put it on paper. And that, I think, has hurt us in certain cases.
Motion made, motion second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Was the housing section on here, Jim, an update or you see that on the agenda? Was that?
I don't know what he had in mind for housing.
Because we talked about it the last meeting.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
just
know.
Curious if it was
Yeah, but
just an
that was-
update.
Right, but that was an addition that the IDA is now going to be involved in. that
Right.
more.
Right.
I mean, the housing that we've been talking about is in Walton. At the property down there in Walton.
The ADAs.
And that is rented now. And people are living in there.
Or ADUs, I'm sorry, not ADU.
Yeah.
No. we're not.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
Okay, I think that's all I can do on the IDA portion. Right now. Oh, the site development, Glenn had included a couple of proposed maps that he's been talking with an engineer. About how to develop the Walton property, the Sheffield Estate property. He came up with a couple of options. And those engineering estimates on the prices, they are not contractor bids.
My opinion on this is that we should go in, remove the foundations. Scott's opinion was we should bury them there. And then clean it up so it's presentable. I wouldn't consider doing the 2-lot subdivision yet unless we had a need to. There we have it marketable as a full 15 acres or 13 acres, whatever is developable on it. And start marketing that way and.
I think I think we need to talk to one of the neighbors down there. I've had some discussion with him. He expressed interest to me at one point in purchasing a couple of the foundations. And using them to build on. They're perfectly good foundations for construction.
I mean, if he wants to develop something there, that's fine. We
And
can
he
cut
owns-
that chunk out.
He owns adjoining on the adjoining property and it might work. We can get rid of couple of those foundations anyway. If we're just gonna shove them in or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, that's fantastic.
So I think we need to have that discussion with him. We also have a prospect that is interested in a lot there to build a 12,000 square foot building on. for a commercial bakery. And I think we gotta go forward and finalize that discussion.
But in the meantime, we can do the cleaning up of the property, even if we don't do the foundations yet.
I would say let's, I'd like to see us go forward and start some activity in there. And I think that would help us politically with all the slings and arrows that are coming at us.
I think that's a good idea, and I think the direction we should go in.
And we don't have a price on that specific activity yet.
No,
These are prices for.
they're
full
just
development.
engineer estimates.
Okay, on this,
Yeah.
but to take your step, just to clean it up, we haven't even estimated that yet, right? Okay.
I had some preliminary talks probably 6, 8 months ago, maybe longer. With a couple of different contractors, I had them down there and looked at it and so forth, but we never got anything firmed up. Cause we didn't know exactly what we wanted to do at that point.
Yeah, but
100
even if,
grand, 300 grand.
yeah, but even if we got an estimate for a landscaping company to come in and cut whatever needs to be cut down and clean it. So that you can at least see the foundation and stuff, would be a start.
Well, I talked to Larry Schaefer. And they happen to have the big chipper and all of that.
Yeah.
Stuff. And, I mean, they can make a lot of that, those trees that are in there disappear quickly.
So you just wanna get it back down to ground level, see what's there.
Yeah.
Clean site for
That should,
development.
that should be relatively cost effective.
I would think so, and that would be the starting point why we discuss with the person about the foundation. Whether they want to purchase a couple of the lots. And we talk with the other individual who's interested in a 12,000 square foot building. And then we can sit and say, okay, now we've got this much left, we need to do this.
Okay.
I mean, earlier we were discussing whether do we need a street. Comparable to a city street road going in there, and I don't see why we do, because it's not gonna be taken over by the village, the street. So. Why enough one for tractor trailers or whatever to get in and out and meet the criteria, but good driveway might be all we need. You know, so, but that can come further when we decide what's really gonna go in there. But right now, it's kind of hard to market it when it looks like a jungle.
Yeah.
You know,
But I mean, so you're saying, let's get a price on what it would take just to clear it,
yeah,
and then be able to see it then.
I mean, it could be as simple as just opening up a part of that fence where you drive in.
Yep.
And put some equipment in there and clear the entryway into the property so people can drive in there and take a look.
At least take a look now.
I think it could be that simple, so.
That'll be low cost.
Glenn and I can get some estimates and we won't start anything
that's a
until.
good way to
we start
proceed.
further.
Good start.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna skip everything else under the IDA meeting for
I
now.
have something to add, if we're not in executive session.
No.
So the sign, that's on the Google Drive, the Deposit Industrial Park sign.
Yes,
Len just wanted me to give a brief update on that, so. I've been working with Deb Fleming on this sign, I'm also working with Lonnie Schaefer, he's going to be doing the excavation work. So I'll meet with him 8:30 Monday morning. And I have to call Dig New York to make sure there's no lines there, but essentially the old one's on the top, the new one's on the bottom. I'm just putting it out there for you guys to see and give any feedback, but. Yeah, pretty much in the works already.
Looks fine to me.
don't know.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
it looks like a good thing to do. Okay, I'm gonna, can I adjourn the IDA meeting, please? Motion. So, second, okay, thank you. And I'll open the LDC. And can I get approval for the minutes of April?
I wasn't allowed to make that. Sorry.
Oh.
I'll make it.
All right.
I'll second that. I'll second
I wasn't,
I wasn't
Thank you.
thinking.
neither was I. Good catch. Okay. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes from April 26th?
So moved.
Second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna skip the financial reports. Let's, I think we need to go into executive session and we can do the loans.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session.
Thank you.
I've got like 8 more things.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, we're back to the LDC meeting. I'd like a motion for the loan that we reviewed for Franklin Eyewear.
So moved.
Second, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Delhi Hospitality loan. I have a motion for that. Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. A motion on the loaf lab. I can't say that.
I'll make
I'll
the
make-
motion.
Yeah, and so that motion was contingent upon
With-
agreement to engage with consultants as recommended by my office, as well as to ensure compliance with all regulations.
Yep. All right, any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Bovina Farm and Fermentary,
So move.
I'll second it.
second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And DSSS Enterprises
I'll make that motion with the contingencies that we put on it.
with the flood insurance and the discussion about increasing revenues.
Well, right,
Cash flows. and-
cash flow for, was it strictly the bowling alley or for the whole building? No, the building, the building.
Revenues for the project.
Overall revenue.
The additional contingent upon receipt of additional information as discussed.
Yeah.
Amongst the board.
And are we or are we not including a conversation with CWC?
No,
Or is
that was
a
the recommendation.
recommendation, okay.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor of that one?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Any other old or new business?
Yeah, so we'll have to circle back to a couple of the items.
Yeah,
where we'll need.
I'm gonna go
resolutions.
back up to this.
Okay,
We're gonna go back to the other resolutions.
yes.
Is there anything needs to be done with the CARES Act? Problem,
No, that was
just an FYI.
that was an
Okay,
FYI.
all right. Okay, other than that, any other old or new business? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn the LDC?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I'm going back up to the IDA for a moment and reopen that. Guess that's appropriate.
We only adjourned, we didn't close.
Yeah, we had a discussion on sale of property.
I'll make that motion.
For sale of 4 Winkler Road.
4 Winkler
per the
Road.
terms discussed.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
We had a discussion on site development in the Walton, Sheffield Estates.
I'll make that motion.
Motion to enter into 1 or more contracts to implement site
Site
B
B.
alternative.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Oh, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? For the housing, I need a motion to make the changes to our mission statement
And our tax exemption.
and our tax exemption policy.
I move.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, opposed, thank you. And Arnan Development. Do I need a motion to
Yeah, so the motion there would be to
complete?
reduce their loan down to 21,510 and move forward as
Satisfaction.
previously approved.
Okay,
So
second,
Can I go catch her?
all
Is
in
that Dr.
favor,
Helen?
Yes.
Yes.
all in favor,
Find out where she's gonna be on Monday.
opposed? And was there anything, we need a resolution on the summer interns,
I thought we did that already.
did we?
we did one.
Oh, okay, so make it two,
Amend the resolution.
amend the resolution to make it,
More than one.
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
Well, then,
Did I get it all?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Oh, this is-
then, yeah,
Yeah.
can I have a motion to adjourn the IDA meeting?
So moved.
Thank you very much. I apologize for the length. But we had a long way to go today.